Boy, I've been holding my hand up for, I don't know, like 4 hours now in a thumbnail. Guess I'm going to put it down and let's get the show on the road.
Yo, it's Dave. Yes, I left Cali behind. The Dave, Nine and Cali show, one of a kind. Sundays, 5 p.m. Central, truth you can. That's for more real.
Hey, we got William this week. All right.
Yeah.
William and John. Hello, I'm back. Thank you, William. Hello, Nina. We haven't seen Nina in a bit. How you been?
Oh, it's been a while. I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I'm doing good. Yeah. Getting ready to move though. So if you see some boxes behind me, that's what's going on.
Oh, really? Where are you moving to?
Just across town. So I'll be a little closer to my son and his family and, you know. Yeah.
Okay. What are you laughing about there, Johnny? What's wrong with John? No audio. Okay. Moving on. So, hey, so anyway, one of the things that we were going to talk about, if John can't talk, we can't talk about his subject. Is there really something wrong with his audio?
He's instead of a French tickler, he's got a Brazilian tickler, and it won't turn off.
But that's not me, though.
Hmm.
That's Uncle Dave.
No.
Okay. Yeah, right. All right. So I was going to switch to that, talking about your gerrymandering thing that you've been looking into. What do you want me to put up here first?
We'll put up the percentages, the white one first. Then we'll put up the map second.
There we go.
All right. Basically, what we're looking at here is a lot of people I've been posting a whole bunch of different memes and shorts about this stuff the last week, 2 weeks. And a lot of people seem to be confused about what's actually going on. And what actually, this is basically to get everybody pretty much on board to what's exactly has been happening. Now, this gerrymandering has been going on all along with the Democrats. This is nothing new to them. I want you to take a good close look at this one particular map that's here. It shows the state, the percentage of Republicans, and how many seats in the House that they have. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And they're complaining about Texas. Well, I'm telling you, folks, this is crazy, especially when you're looking at. Yeah, I mean, there's no representation. And this is not one or two states where you have like maybe little Connecticut or Vermont. Look at the size of some of these of the populations of Massachusetts has got Boston in there. That's huge. I mean, it's just the point of it's unbelievable that they've been getting, and they're starting to complain about the 5 seats. Well, they're going to lose a lot more than that. Can you switch to the next graph, Dave?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, right here is the graph of the gerrymandering states potential. Now you got California, which is currently Newsom's going after it now. He's trying to wipe out everything he can as far as the Republicans are concerned. And you've got Oregon there, and you've got Illinois, which are working on theirs. But look at what's left for the Republicans. They want to get into a pissing contest. They're going to lose because Texas is already into it, and they might even be able to squeeze another seat out of the House because what Trump is in his infinite wisdom has done is he's going after the census. I mean, the Democrats are complaining, well, we should just leave it alone until we have it corrected. No, it should be corrected right now. And that's what they're trying to do is get them to go back and do the census. Even though it's an off year for it, it's because of all the illegals that are in here that the Democrats have signed up. But they want to get, in other words, coming up for this, for the, the new trimester, you're going to call it, this is what we're looking at. Look at all the red that's sitting out there that we can basically go after and get. So they're going to lose. They're going to end up losing big time in both the House and the Senate because of all this. I mean, what do you guys think about this? About this gerrymandering?
Oh yeah. Democrats have been just doing this for years. They've been doing this. But the census is a good idea. The thing is, it's going to be hard to not be able to not count illegals because of a Supreme Court ruling that goes way back. Matt and I've talked about this on his channel and my channel. The way that they label that you don't. It doesn't have to be a specified citizen to be counted in the United States. They count these as people, and this kind of dates back to the slavery era when slaves were counted as uh not like two
Three
thirds, three fifths.
fifths, yeah.
Yeah, there you go, 3/5. Um, anyways, so they decided that it was put into the Constitution. That I think is it the 14th Amendment? 14th Amendment, I believe it is. Where there are people, it's people, and so you'll have to change the wording, and so there will have to be a constitutional amendment to be put in order to do that, and that would take 2/3 of Senate and 2/3 of the House, and there's even if we had that in Republican representation, um, you would have a hard time getting all the rhinos on board because we don't even like if we had 2/3 Republican, we only have an eighth of that 2/3 because of the rhinoceroses that exist in the House and in the Senate as Republicans. So basically, it's definitely worth a Hail Mary shot. I won't disagree, but it's just going to be hard to try to do a census and not count illegals on there. So if Tom Homan and ICE agents can get their stuff together enough and get enough of these people out, especially in blue states. This is why they need to go after areas of blue states because it's these illegals that have infiltrated the urban areas. And actually, I say infiltrated. Bless, what's his name, uh, Greg Abbott and DeSantis and all these people that were sending these illegals up to blue states, but they kind of actually did that either on purpose or by accident. But it happened where the illegals all got focused into the high populated city areas, which tends to dictate the voting base for the whole state. Like you can have a whole big ass state full of Republicans, but one city of a bunch of liberal Democrats can overturn all of those votes, and so that happened. If you'll focus on the blue states, get all these illegals out of here, um, you know,
Mhm.
there's a chance that this could work out.
Well, and we had a lot of illegals in the United States before this um,
Yes.
big push on illegal aliens to start with. I mean, before he opened up the borders, but they would always count them just because they were people that were there and living, whether they were legal or not. And I can see how they use that just to manipulate. In a way, it's a roundabout way of manipulating the voting base because it affects what each state stands for. And if you take the illegal element out of it, then it changes the numbers drastically. And also, one of the things that well, I probably shouldn't go into that. I'd probably get in trouble for that. Never mind. Sometimes your brain starts, getting upset about something and you say what you shouldn't say. So I'm not going to go there.
I do that all the time.
I agree with where you were going, Dave. The census has always been about population. It reflects the population in the state, not the voter base.
Correct.
Not how many people are, enrolled to vote. It's the population. Now, they used to ask on the census routinely, particularly when there was a big influx of immigrants coming into this country in the 1890s, the early 1900s, pardon me. They used to ask, are you a United States citizen?
Yeah, and of course they come up against that saying, "Oh, you can't ask that. That's not right."
Right. But it used to be a regular question on there, and of course it had to be because there's not supposed to be congressional representation for people who are not here as citizens. You're only supposed to be looking at the citizens who get representation.
I'm just laughing at that whole idea of representation, anyways. Because the
It's all
rhinos,
been a
the
mess for a
rhinos hit
while.
hard.
Hey,
Hello,
Lizette,
Derek.
glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you, Lisette, for being here. My beautiful wife's hanging out here too, and she
Yeah.
says hi, Nina. Yeah.
Hi,
So,
hi, Stephanie. That's all right,
yeah,
Lizette.
you've been out of the loop, Nina. Do you know that I'm having a boy?
I've been away for a while, and I was taking care of my brother for a while, and he's back in Tennessee now. So, and then I took a very nice little vacation.
Mhm.
So yeah, was just out of the loop for a little bit.
Yeah, got my
Yeah.
wife pregnant. We're 12 weeks into having a baby boy.
Now he's gonna have a mini me of William.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, but
saw that.
that's
That's excited for you.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and then
Be another,
we're
be a little
sticking it to
Willie
the
around.
system. It'll be Bill Bob,
Bill Bob.
Is that the name you
William
decided?
Robert.
So
Yeah,
what
William
was-
Robert.
And Bill Bob for short.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you need another syllable in there. You know, it's a Southern thing. Billy Bob.
Yeah.
Billy
Well,
Bob. Yeah.
Bill Bob is breaking free of that stigma of Southern, kind of Billy Bob. No, Bill Bob. And my buddy DL come up with that, and I can't
Wait
fight
a minute,
him on
breaking
that.
away. Is that like that we, they, I, me?
Yeah.
Does that sound a little woke to you? With breaking away from Billy
Right.
Bob to Bill
Breaking
Bob? Oh,
I don't
breaking
know.
away. We're woke.
Makes me think of the Lord of the Rings.
Hmm.
Like a Hobbit name or something.
yeah, Bill Bob.
Yeah.
Bilbo. It was Bilbo.
That's it. That's it. That's why it makes me think of that.
So speaking of woke, breaking away, the Cracker Barrel. I didn't even. I did. So I didn't know. Not only did they change the sign, but they also got rid of all of the knickknacks. Like when you walked into the Cracker Barrel area, you had all the different little knickknacks of candy and little this and that and all that. And the thing is like, so you didn't. Nobody bought the stuff. But it was nice to walk in there and see that. And plus too, like I think they had like the way that they set the scene up in there, even though it wasn't, it's considered a restaurant, but to me it's more like fast food. But anyways, they at least you had like a fireplace setting and you had some kind of like rustic looking inside. Now it's just like a damn McDonald's when you walk in there now. It's like they screwed it up bad. And so nobody's going to the Cracker Barrel anymore. Nobody. It's like,
well, yeah, and then the CEO said, well, the MAGA people don't have to eat here. And then really? So
we're the only people that pay for stuff though, unless they start taking EBT. I mean, do they take EBT? I don't know if they do or not.
Yep, also.
Yeah. So and I noticed here where even on X they've changed the logo.
Yeah.
On their page.
Well, even Detroit, the motor companies. I've got. Matter of fact, I'm going to be posting probably tomorrow and Monday a picture of the new 2026. It's called the Capri. It's Ford. This thing looks wicked. It looks like it's 50% old car, like an old Chevy, like a old style Chevy, and same too with the Chevrolet. They're coming out with the Monte Carlo again. They're bringing it out, and it's kind of like what people have been asking for. The cars every day, you look down at cars today, everything looks the same. They're cheap pieces of junk that we're paying $50,000 and $60,000 for. When back, you can still. This reason why a lot of people. There was a survey that I saw. There's a guy in Florida. I can't remember what his name is offhand. I think it's called South Florida Motor Classics. This guy can't get enough of the classic cars. He said people are buying them left and right from him, and it's not just to just to take the car shows. He says they're driving as everyday drivers. He said they're not necessarily all interested in souped up engines and stuff like that. He said they're interested in reliability, but they love the way the cars look. And this is something that they need to turn around and look at. we're all reluctant to change. But when you take something that was beautiful and you make it ugly, still you've made something ugly. They're not going to go for it. And William, you should be able to see it. You do those car shows. You have the car shows that you do in your area. You see how much those cars look like and what people are driving. They don't want to drive the other stuff.
No, and so
And even
I'm gonna
well,
tie
the
this.
one thing I want to add on. I want to add on is for the word patina. You know what that is, William, right?
Yeah.
Things
age out.
For those out there, what basically people don't know is you guys out there don't know what patina is. You take an old car that's been sitting in a barn or whatever, you wash it off. A lot of the paint's gone off of it, but it still shows a red or a blue or whatever, and then a little bit of rusty area. And, it's smoothed off, and it looks good. It's not dented up, but it's got a patina to it. People just love that look. They've been asking for it. And I remember back in my day when I had 38 Chevy Coupe and I had a Chevy pickup truck, we weren't looking for that. We were looking for the street rod type thing, but never would have thought that people still staying with the old vehicles, but they're after the patina now. It's just, they want the old cars and they're out selling,
and I've seen guys painting them to look like that on purpose.
Right. It's unbelievable. Because most of those old salvage yards, they're gone. They're all gone. Cars have just rotted away or whatever, but there still are a bunch of them that out there out west in Scottsdale, Arizona, and other places still have thousands of cars out there that are still left over from the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and they're rebuilding them from the ground up.
I'm gonna throw Barack Obama under the bus. I want to take you back circa 2014. Well, 2020, no, wait, 2014, I guess it was. Cash for Clunkers. Does anybody remember Cash for Clunkers? Anybody?
Yes.
No, 1-800 Cars for Kids.
No. Cash for Clunkers was a scheme that the Obama administration came up with for a couple of reasons.
Oh, okay.
One was to falsely prop up car manufacturers by getting people to buy their new junk that nobody wanted. See, cars, they wanted to make a significant change in the way that vehicles looked and the materials that were used. And plus two, there was this push for better emissions. Okay. So, or for less emissions, better. Anyway, so Barack Obama did a campaign. It was a government payout to car dealers to where if whatever vehicle you were driving at the time, if you could get it to the dealership, if you could make it to the dealership with the vehicle, no matter what year model it was, or what it looked like, you would get some kind of insane trade-in value. It was like, I want to say it was like $5,000 or something. It was, and you just don't get that on trade-ins for something that's old and beat up.
Or shit,
But you're right, exactly. You could tow it in. You just had to get there with it, and they'd give you $5,000 to trade in. I think even more at some circumstances. But anyways, this was the era whenever the Mercury Grand Marquis and the Lincoln Continentals and the Ford LTDs and Chevrolet Malibus that had the older style 3.0. I'm not trying to get too mechanical and mansplain stuff, but cars were actually pretty reliable then. You would if you had a car with 200,000 miles on it, it ran great. It was bulletproof. The doors, the interiors were great. Things were just built really good.
And so the accident, it was just a fender bender, not a total.
Yeah. The 90s, the square body Fords, the OBS Fords were a thing. 80s and 90s Fords with that TDI 7.3 diesel that was just, it wasn't turbocharged, but just would never stop running. You could run it on burnt motor oil; it would run. A lot of vehicles that would today still be on the road, even in that era, as they were old then. Because I work on some old LTDs and Crown Vics that have 500,000 miles on them, and they run like they won't stop running. And Honda Accords with the 96, 7, and 8 Honda Accords with. I've got a lady I work on a Toyota Camry that's got 576,000 miles on it. Just won't stop running. And and the used car market was flourishing. It was nothing to have a used car dealership because there was enough used cars out there that you could have 10 of them in a county, or 8 more than that. You could have all these used car lots everywhere. and there was enough cars to go
So-
around of quality.
So
Okay.
going back to your original thing you were saying, the government was incentivizing the dealers to buy back the old cars, but not to put them back on the road as used vehicles, but just to get rid of them, right? They had to be
Exactly.
junked. They had to be
Yes, and
scrapped.
most and the most of your usable commodities on junk vehicles are engines and transmissions, and so and then the cars had to be decommissioned. But whenever the car was traded in under cash for clunkers, a technician would take the car in, pour some solvent into the oil and into the transmission to make those two parts completely not usable, and then they were only on the salvage yards for a certain period of time because under the cash for clunkers things they had to be crushed, melted down, recycled, and so there was a large plethora of used parts. So the trickle down effect of cash for clunkers took a large chunk out of the used car field. So people don't, the working man couldn't go find you could buy a $500 Chevy Lumina and drive that sucker for 2 or 3 years, as long as you kept the water in it, and now you're lucky to find a decent used car for less than $4,000, which is pricing people out of vehicles. And even the used cars, like when those Toyota Camrys came out new in 2014, they were burning oil from the original. There was recalls because they were just the motors were junk, so they weren't going to hold up like the older cars where you're not going to get 400,000 miles out of a Toyota Camry, Toyota Avalon. Everything was way more advanced too with the emissions that just constantly kept failing, and and also when Obama was president, there was prices of scrap metal that hit $15 and $17, $18 on 100, and so like old 70s model Ford trucks were being drove to the junkyard, and they would just hand the keys to the guy, and they'd give him $800, and they walked away, and it was to me, in my opinion, it was just right. To me, it was a strategic move to gear people into a backing people into a corner of buying this new junk, and putting you in the position of either, just there's so many people right now that don't even have a vehicle because they just can't afford it, and what's out there isn't any good. Yeah. So I don't know. I watched that happen, and then the used car industry.
We start talking about radios or cars, right? Because
kind of happens that one.
I'm just kidding you. I'm just teasing you, William.
Same thing about the appliances, too, like refrigerators.
Okay.
I'm going to take us back to Cracker Barrel for just a minute because I want to say something controversial that is the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about, but I can get away with doing it because I'm old.
Oh, okay.
Not older than me.
Old people can do stuff.
Well, that is, I would say at least 5 years ago, maybe longer, Cracker Barrel looked at the handwriting on the wall and they said, you know what? Our biggest customer base is the boomers, and they're dying off.
Yeah.
And pretty soon, we're not going to have people come in here who know what a knee-high was when they look at that sign on the wall. We're going to lose the people who used to drink knee-highs when they were younger. It's the boomers who came in there and it looked like grandma's house. It was like grandma's food, and they recognized the things that were on the walls. Well, now that generation is dying off, and Cracker Barrel got worried. We're not going to have any customers because we don't think we appeal to the younger generation. So we're going to have to do something. This was a business decision. Now, is it a kind of thumb in their nose at a big customer base that they still have? Yes, it is. So I'm not surprised they're making it. I'm not surprised they're making the switch or the decision. In my opinion, though, I don't think it's a good move just because now they look like
it was the wrong move.
Yeah, they look just like everybody else. At least before they were
I don't know that sales had dropped that much because, when you go in, the regular, like when normal busy times for, restaurants like, breakfast and lunch and maybe not so much at dinner. I don't know about Cracker Barrel for dinner, but it's always packed.
Mhm.
And the difference of that model is, okay, so grandpa and grandma takes the kids down there. So then the kids grow up and they go, oh, we used to go here all the time. Oh, I like that. And so you get a generational following of the nostalgic part of, because that's a piece of, it's kind of like history when you walk in there and you see all these different kind of things on the wall that people used to use before, all the technology and stuff that we have today. And so it's kind of educational. It gives you something to talk about with with the family when you're there. I mean, there's so many aspects of it that it makes it almost a touristy kind of restaurant.
Mhm.
I mean, you're not going to travel,
Yeah.
over to the next state to go to Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one else was like that. No one had that kind of food and et cetera. So I do understand that this was a calculated effort on their part to make sure that they still had a customer, a strong appeal to the customers coming out. But I think they miscalculated just for the reason that you're talking about. So there are a lot of people who are bringing their grandkids there or bringing their kids there. And even if their kids didn't recognize the stuff on the walls or their grandkids didn't, the grandkids understood, hey, I felt love here. I felt safe here. I felt, a lot of joy here. My grandparents always used to buy me something from the gift shop. And if they didn't, at least I could look at things. There was stuff to look at and do while you were waiting to get your table. Or you could
One
go
of the last few places that had Christmas decorations up for Christmas in a store or restaurant.
Yeah. So, and they did a booming business. So I think they could have continued that if they had not miscalculated so greatly. But this is a huge miscalculation in my estimation, because now they look so much like everyone else.
Yeah, and a lot of money spent. But if if they look at the money spent versus the money they lose, they might reconsider, and it'd be just as easy as saying, well, you know what? The public has spoken. We're going to go back that way. Look at how many businesses are dumping the woke, the all those special programs and so forth. They're just getting rid of them because they realize that was not the way to go. And I just think that too many people got in the management of Cracker Barrel, and they're all, talking to each other, and they think that's what the outside world wants. But it's, I don't think that's it was a wise decision. I mean, the matter of fact, the last time I went into Cracker Barrel, I was kind of appalled at there was two girls working there that couldn't leave each other alone.
Ooh.
As much as it's kind of like we see a guy and a girl and they like each other and so forth. Well, they were doing the same thing. One was the hostess, one was one of the persons that worked behind the register. And I went as far as I wrote a complaint into the review to the company. I don't know if it went anywhere. Obviously, they probably didn't care. But I said I don't think it was proper, and even if it were a boy and a girl, it wouldn't be proper to be doing that, business wise.
Right.
Well, imagine a world where we pass down knowledge, like, say for instance, if since you were mentioning the fact that there was a chance that the customer base slowly dying off, there wouldn't be anybody that knew what a knee high was or some of the stuff that you've seen on the wall. But imagine, and like when you take your grandkids to this place, you would talk to them about stuff. You would talk about things. You would say, look, this is stuff that existed then, and you could glorify those days, and talk about how nice it was and things that were and be able to pass down some of the old time ways. And so and all that Cracker Barrel would have had to done was just like, they could have expanded on the fact that the base was dying off and made actually a gain out of this by glorifying these older times, these older situations, by maybe having, like, they could have organized some car shows. They could have, been sponsoring some sort of vintage event where you go to see tractors and old timey buildings and stuff that people have preserved, and getting their name along the lines of that, and because believe it or not,
Historic.
and right, they could have embraced history, and
Mm.
and then they could have said, hey, because there is a large percentage of I think we're Gen Z. I mean, I'm not, but these young kids now,
Mhm.
they want things to look old. They do. There's like this whole group now, this whole new music movement where they sing modern type music, but their whole setting is this like rustic looking,
Mhm.
like Malcolm Blue Farm, quote
Mhm.
unquote, looking thing. And they the music's sort of modern, but they dress old timey. They use old timey looking instruments, and they have embraced a historical part of things. You could
Mhm.
combine that, and then you could preserve history, and then you could have a thing called culture, and you could lead that. But instead of doing that, they did the exact opposite and destroyed it completely, erased it, got rid of it, and actually, to me, it would only make sense that this is some sort of I blame it on the globalists because who owns Cracker Barrel, the franchise? Who owns the franchise? Who owns the franchise? And who also would be very much in tune with destroying history and culture and blurring the lines of what's real. And so, yeah, this is that it's an obvious power move to destroy something bigger than just a brand. It's is actually you know. So that's just an opinion I just kind of thought of. Anyway.
I want to
Well,
go off of what William just said too. But down in South Florida, Pete Rose, may rest in peace. He had two restaurants, one in Boca and the other one in Boynton Beach. They called them Pete Rose's Ballpark Cafes. Every Sunday, rain or shine, they had car shows, and that brought people there. His restaurants would fill up. Inside, he had nothing but sports memorabilia. Then he would actually autograph stuff for people and sign and sell stuff there. But yet, it was the cars that drew the people there. And even after he got rid of his restaurants, too old to operate them and what have you, it still flipped over to another thing. Went to that cars and coffee. So in other words, it has hung in there for at least a good 40 years.
Mhm.
Those the major car shows. It's not just I remember back in the 70s we still had some car shows, but that would show up in the drive-in. It might be a couple dozen, but I mean big time. They're out there and they're continuing to get bigger and stronger. I mean they should be able to see. It's like everything else. They just like with television. I remember the Nielsen ratings. You never knew who the hell the families were, but yet when you read about nostalgia, you find out that one of the programs that the Nielsen ratings that the families that gave the ratings out said that should not go on. One of them was Star Trek. Can you imagine that?
Hmm.
They said it was not worth the money to put it up there. Nobody's gonna like the program. Unbelievable, some of the stuff. I mean, that was just off the top of my head on that one. I know there are a whole bunch more. I think another one was the Brady Bunch and a few others that were top notch on there for years. But people want to see those things, and even now, what I'm starting to see too on Facebook, and I'm starting to see too on YouTube, is posts that are going up. It's okay to be white. It's okay to be white. That's what they're starting now. That's a trend that's going now.
Trend of
It's okay to
flip it
be
back
white.
around.
And I'm even posting a few of those up there too. It is. It's okay. It's
Mhm.
just the point of what they're trying to do is. I mean, I'm sorry to say, but most of the problems we have right now happen to be the politicians, quote unquote, people with the money, and it seems to be female and of the darker skinned variety. In other words, you start to see it almost every single one. It's pointed right at that direction, and people that
How
maybe
about
came from
that?
nothing, people that came from
How
nothing,
about,
all of a sudden they've got something now, and now they want to turn and put the screws to everybody else.
Mhm.
Doesn't work that way.
William, you got that Trump eating girl? I see that. Down I think
Yeah,
I
this,
saw
this
that
liberal
earlier.
chick, this liberal chick's like, this is Trump derangement syndrome in full effect.
Yeah.
But I think she decided partly through it she didn't particularly like the way it tasted. Are you impressed? I'm impressed with her. She doesn't like it. Okay. I saw that earlier.
It is the stupid does.
Well, I mean, it gets worse than that. But I can show you so many things that are just like this right here. This is not. You would think this is like satire. It's not satire. This is the kind of stuff that we're dealing with right here. Look at this.
People shouldn't have to work to prove their value to you. In fact, people shouldn't have to work. People should want to work, and I want to work, and I do work. But it's like no amount of working is ever going to be enough to prove that I'm not disabled, and no amount of work is going to make me not disabled. You know, it's like I can only fucking do so much. People
male or female?
I don't know, but did she say she was disabled?
Yeah. Well, and you know, come on. What part is more? What do you think is disabled about that person?
For mine.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Yes. Yes.
She can't use her fingers.
Mentally disabled.
Yes, mentally. It's mentally, or it's mentally. I don't know. I really can't tell what that is. I can't tell if it's male or female. I have no idea. I really don't. When I asked that question, I was legitimately wanting to know male or female. By the way, that tattoo on that person's chest is very expensive. If you were to get that done at a tattoo shop, that's probably $800 or $1,000 easily.
Hey, those nails aren't cheap either.
No.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, is that a tattoo on the face as well, or is that makeup?
Might be face painting.
I'm looking at the glasses.
Yeah, that looks like like clown paint because these people are goofball clowns. But
yeah,
clown paint.
Yeah, serious issues.
Yeah.
Serious issues with when you know. To me, there's a cry for help in that message. Not I know that we like to poke fun at these people, and rightly so. But when this person is talking about proving themselves, what's going on in this person's personal life that makes them have this yearn. This person is this actually I have not heard one say this like that. Like I'm trying to prove. Like what kind of issues has happened at home to where they've been spoken to by either a parental person or bullied in school, or is social media a factor in all of this right here? Where like there's a possibility that they're being attacked on social media. Which I mean, to be honest with you, when you do this to yourself, you're opening the door for this to happen. I mean, when you present yourself this way because you've been told by algorithms as false engagement that this would be the way you needed to move in your life, that you would be accepted, and then when you walk out into the real world, you're not accepted. People look at you really funny, and they may even say some mean things to you, and that could be pretty traumatic. But the fact of the matter lies is at some point, you've got to wake up and get back into reality.
Right.
That's why they need to watch us. That person right there needs to watch us. They need to watch our channels and learn the stuff. But there's a lot to unpack there.
And I know.
I mean, I've got a couple of trolls that they make comments now and then. I guess I've arrived at the big time.
Oh yeah.
I don't get trolls anymore. I get zero trolls.
I've seen that. This guy really. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. So, and he's not mentally well. I know that there was an altercation that happened to occur prior to this. Got images of that where there was like an altercation that took place and backstage or somewhere, and I don't thought I had images of it, but anyhow, but what happened was this guy here, this dude got canned by a beer can by the guy that he slammed on the thing there. But apparently this was part of the show that went kind of wrong, I guess, but something happened where there was an altercation prior to this, either the same day or the day before. But after it was over with, these people talked it out, shook hands, everything's good. But then a day or so later, this guy goes out onto the and does that, and so there's a lot of people that are making excuses that what he did was justified because of what happened to him a day or so before that, and then um, I could, if you were going to do that, you should have handled it right then. If there was going to be a problem, you
So
should have handled it right.
so he just climbed in the ring and took it upon himself to
Well,
do that, or
I think he was the son of the guy that was in the ring that got defeated.
Hello?
it's him talking to his dad.
Shit pissed me off though, Andre.
I understand that, but now they can't wake the nigga up. He's fucking in the ring, fucking flatline, bro.
My bad.
You didn't have to do all that shit. I understand y'all had heat. You didn't have to fucking take it there.
I'll call you back later.
He's not well. That guy's not mentally well at all. I mean, he's this is more of it right here.
Fucking bitch, bro. I'm always playing and shit. Call me bitch and shit. Not no fucking bitch, bro. At the end of the day, I'm gonna stand up for my fucking self because I'm tired of everybody fucking playing with me, bro. Real shit.
And he's got there was so he approached that wrestler, and then they had words. The wrestler hit him in the head with a beer can, and then it was squashed after that. Then a few days later, he I guess something where the guy he gets back in his feelings, and apparently he was he was making statements like the wrestling people were going to let him do this, get a couple of shots in on him or something. I don't know exactly the extent of that, but he took it way too far. So, and I don't know. And to this moment, I don't know that the wrestler guys came. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. Shouldn't have done that. I don't know what the outcome of that's going to be, but it took it too far. I'm sorry about the cuss words, but there's a lot to unpack with that. It really is. Yeah.
So where is the line? You would say, where is the line where we say to ourselves, someone was provoked too far,
Mm-hmm.
or where we're saying, on the one side of it, we can all understand when there's such provocation that we feel like, yeah, I think that would have made anybody snap. But where is the line? I tend to think it seems like the line has been going backwards, where more and more we're seeing people act like, oh, well, it's society's fault. It's because this happened to them and we should give them all this grace, instead of saying each person is responsible for his own feelings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I do.
Own actions.
It doesn't work that way. They've been getting away with this stuff for so long, and nobody's been bothering them. In other words, they just like with the I don't know if you guys saw that big cruise ship, the Carnival Lines cruise ship.
The chicken nugget fight.
Yeah, the chicken nugget. Did you see that whole entire ship? Were a bunch of animals on there. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole entire cruise ship.
Yeah.
And even then, I posted a short today. And it's about patience, about pride. One half on the left half of the screen is a regular, seems like a Southern college of white girls and stuff like that, graduating from college and throwing their hats up into the air. On the right hand side is probably an Alabama type college, and
they call it
hey, watch it
just,
there.
Huh? Yeah, right.
Say it now, I did that for you.
Well, that means what it is, though. That's just yeah.
It's the truth. It's it hasn't.
You know what though? I rarely hear about anything. I mean, rarely, as in, like maybe, I don't know. I rarely hear about anything like that happening on campuses in Alabama. So I know we have a reputation, and I would say the majority of the time when you hear stuff like that happening, it's guys on the football team. Sorry, but it's the truth.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, Dave?
Dave, yeah, I was going to ask you how you're feeling, Dave.
Hanging in there.
Yeah, Dave's he's menopausing today, and so it's y'all pray for him. Hitting him hard. Yeah.
Don't say that word too. Don't say that word too loud. My wife is going through it.
Oh, Lord have mercy. You ever heard that song by Van Halen, Menopause?
Oh, I'm telling you, I've learned what this means.
Yeah. Menopause. Menopause. It's by Van Halen. Anyway. But there's a lot going on out there right now. We're going to see Monday's going to be a big news cycle day because things have been really quiet. I've been watching the headlines and all that, and things have been really quiet on the
subpoenas coming out, getting ready to set people up for trials. That's all going to start coming real fast now.
Well, we did get an announcement from RFK that he is definitely not running for president in 2028.
Yeah. I don't blame him.
So yeah,
I don't blame him.
No, it pretty much right now. It looks like it's going to be JD Vance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, JD and Newscom.
Dude,
yeah, I still laugh over that one. I'm like, honestly, the Democrats, it's like, are you deliberately fishing from the bottom of the barrel?
I mean, what I can't understand, you talk about Newsom. How can he actually do a debate with Trump? How can he actually even do one? Because you know it's going to come right out, and I guarantee you, by the time that comes around, it's another 3 years or 3 years plus away. That railroad, that $1 billion railroad, still won't be built yet. Oprah Winfrey and the rest of the people, the Chinese, will own all the burned up land that around Los Angeles. You know, the people still probably, maybe by then they'll have 4 people have houses. In other words, nothing's going to be done. More money is going to be missing. I mean, it's just, it's unbelievable. He's maybe he thinks he's going to pull a sheet of paper out like Adam Schiff did, lie your way through everything.
He's looking for all of the Democrats to still be there, for one thing, and to not look any further than they have in their recent past history. That's how they ended up with Kamala Harris. That's how they ended up with Joe Biden. It's like we're counting on our base not to actually know anything, but just to believe the things we tell them, which is, pretty much lies. So, and if we do that, and if they believe us, then they'll vote for us. But everyone is much more savvy now. That's part of the reason Trump got elected, is because people became more savvy. And so many Democrats got red pilled. And, even if they didn't become Republicans, they said, well, I'm going to be an independent then. I am not voting Democrat. So,
George Soros probably won't be around another 3 more years. He's 95, 96 right now.
But I think didn't we hear something about he was giving his he's
already done that.
Son that is actually more liberal than he is, more left leaning.
Yeah. Oh, he's already done that. Yeah. That's already happened. That happened like a year or 2 ago. But most of the time when kings hand their empire over to their children, they usually run it into the ground pretty quickly. So it probably will maybe fizzle out on its own. Yep.
Yeah.
So I keep getting these things, because I used to be from California. Keep getting these things, promoting Newsom, and I can't imagine the Democratic base looking at his record of what he did to California, or what is it? They don't see what he did to California. When you do a job resume, it's to find out what this person's background is and maybe where they worked and how well they did what they did. And what he's done to California he would do to to the United States. You
And
know,
even
I
if
mean,
you
right
didn't
now,
know, even if you didn't know what he'd done, Dave, all you have to do is say, why was there a huge exodus from your state? People who
oh
couldn't
yeah,
stand living there anymore, who never thought they would move, but they've done it now. And they're going to states like Florida and Texas.
oh yeah,
I think they ran out of
and then
U-Haul truck. I heard they
right
ran
now
out of U-Haul truck.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
right
And
now the unemployment is higher in California than all the United States. It's
mhm.
like 5.5% right now.
And
And of
businesses
course,
coming
the
out of
state
there.
income tax
Yeah.
is all the way up to 14.3%. That's outrageous. And of
And
course, we all know they have the highest gas prices,
yeah.
you know, stuff like
I think
that.
that oil refinery's leaving. That one of the big ones leaving
Yes.
California.
Mhm.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
they only have two. They only have two major ones. One's leaving. So that kind of tells you, you know, what's going to
Yeah.
happen there.
Well,
Plus,
and
they also have the
other
most,
retail stores are leaving too. Bed Bath and Beyond
yeah,
announced
yes,
Yeah, they're
they
not
were
going back.
closing all their stores in California
over,
because it's just
yeah, it
not
says over 120, over 120 corporate headquarters have moved out of California
Mhm.
and gone to Texas.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And, you know, so that's a lot. And then, of course, they have their 1.8 million illegals over there too.
Mhm.
So that, you know, all these things are going bad.
Crazy.
I don't know why anybody would want to vote for him as a president. Just blows me away.
Well,
Still
that
a lot of brainwashed people out there.
well, that yeah, and this is why I feel like Biden was right in the same category as Newsom, but
Mhm.
they knew they had some kind of way of fixing the election to get Biden in there. That's what concerns me. Is like they're bold enough to run Newsom as bad as he actually is, and everybody knows it.
Mhm.
They may have a plan that will supersede public opinion by being able to fix the next election. And they may, and that plan obviously probably won't be secure elections. It'll be some kind of new pandemic. They were gonna. I don't know what happened and why they didn't do it this time. They may be saving it. They might be saving the next pandemic for 2028. They decided we'll just hold off the election cycle and let everybody kind of calm down because people are still pissed about COVID, and so
Mhm.
they might just want to give people another 4 years to cool off about it. Um, give them
Right.
some wins, so maybe people will kind of feel a little bit more, not so on the fence about things, and then
Mhm.
California just recently tested positive. Somebody in California got the bubonic plague. I saw a headline for that.
It
There's these
too,
little
yeah.
snippets of
Mhm.
little snippets of like, what the hell? It's almost like they're
Yeah.
throwing a few of these things out here on the wall to see what might stick. We've
See
also
what
got,
sticks.
I think humanity might, yeah, humanity's going to end in November when that alien spaceship gets here from outer space too. That's
Mhm.
coming. Get ready for that. No, the funny thing is nobody cares about that. Nobody's like,
Yeah.
because we're like,
Can't be any worse than the Democrats.
So,
yeah,
do any of you guys see that the shift in the near future for the House or Congress, anything like that? Like, you know how it's basically flipped back to Republican. How long do you think that we'll have a hold of that, or do you think it'll flip back right away?
mm,
I don't know. That's going to
Well,
be interesting. Traditionally, in the midterms, is when
Yeah,
you see the flip, and you know, and then the president doesn't have the advantage in the Congress anymore.
correct,
So,
correct. Yeah,
but the Democrats have been so bad, so
I
absolutely bad, and that I don't know.
I
I'm
got
just
that
wondering.
same feeling. Yeah,
Yeah,
same
might not
feeling.
happen this time. Ooh, excuse me.
Hi,
yeah,
hello.
Nina.
Sending it
But
to
yeah,
her.
that's true. That could be a very relevant thing. The media has been really, really, really putting in double time, overtime to condition the people for all their bad stuff. I don't know. People aren't buying this stuff anymore. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just
So
not working.
Yeah.
the
I'm
shift
saying
is
it's going to be next thing's got to be pandemic. Next pandemic coming around the corner, and this one's going to be for real. Like I feel like they're the people behind the scenes that put together or the first pandemic are just uber pissed that it didn't get as much out. They got a lot out of it, but not as much as they wanted to. And so they're going to figure out a way to implement some kind of new, really totalitarian policy the next cycle. That's something we got to watch out for. They want people to bend.
I almost forgot. I want to drop something real quick in here too. It has to deal with Venezuela. I don't know if you guys heard about or not that the U.S. has got 3 warships offshore Venezuela. Maduro has called up over 1 million people. His own complete army is completely in the streets now, and they're just waiting. This, like I said, but this looks like another one of his antics because it came out through in Bolivia today, the news agency in Bolivia, which somehow or another they've got some good reporting for such a tiny country, that Maduro asked the president of Mexico for asylum, and she refused him.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Refused him. So
Well,
he's got
now,
no.
Wow.
let me ask you something, John. Maduro was the mastermind behind sending all this Trinidad gang up here and other criminals, correct?
Oh yeah, he's behind. Okay, he is the mastermind behind the election scam to begin with. That starts goes all the way back with him. He pulled it off in America. He helped pull it off in Brazil, and he pulled it off in his own country. Now, when they caught up with him with his election, he is actually not the legitimate president of Venezuela because with 80% of the votes, 80% of the people that they have, the opposition has, was for the other person. And he said, no, that's all entirely wrong. And he refuses to give up any of the ballots or any of the information. That's what's been happening. And that's why everything has been that way. Had now Lula, who's the president of Brazil, does not like the guy any iota. He hates him to death. And it's because he brings nothing more than drugs into Brazil. So he is noted. He's well noted as the head honcho of all the cartels that in other words, they work through him. So in other words, it basically comes from Venezuela, goes through Mexico, goes through Colombia, all the way even into Brazil, down to Peru. He's got his fingers in all the way up from Canada, all the way to the southern tip of South America. He is the major thing. That's the reason why when Trump says he's putting up $50 million bounty on him, he's expecting to see something for it. That's a lot of money. And I guarantee you there are mercenaries out there that are going to try to take him out. That is a huge payday. Just all depends upon when they're going to do it or how close can they get. But no, I honestly believe that out of all the garbage I've been hearing about, this, that, and the other about chasing over the last couple of years, chasing the Chinese around the Caribbean, from the Panama Canal and everything else, this is the most serious eye awakener that's come so far. Is going to be Maduro. He's not going to match up against the United States. They only sent 3 warships. They didn't even send a carrier. It's because they've got the air bases all around them. So in other words, they can send in thousands of planes.
Yeah. They don't need
thousands of planes. They don't need it. In other words, it's absolutely crazy. And the Brazilian Navy is sitting up there right around the bend from Venezuela. They're sitting up there. One actually is the Independence, which is one of the old destroyers from the United States that they sold to Brazil, and which was actually one of the ships that caught one of the oil tankers about 3 or 4 years ago, leaving Venezuela, heading toward the European areas. They brought that ship into Houston, but we're going to see what happens with that. But that Mexico's completely corrupt too. That's totally corrupt. It's a big mess.
Wow.
Well, guys, it's top of the hour. I appreciate everybody coming in.
Yeah, thank everybody for being here.
Hanging out.
Again, by the way. Yeah.
It's
Hey,
great
give everybody a big round of applause.
We'll take a bow.
Yeah. All righty, guys. Well, we're
right.
gonna get out of here. You guys remember to visit everybody's channels. American in Brazil is John. And of course, William Archibald's channel is called William Archibald, which that's,
Well,
no.
no.
Well, it's
Used
got
to
a
be.
number at the end, doesn't it?
No, I changed it all and everything. It's Ratchet Production Studios.
Ratchet
Oh, you
Productions.
did? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
everything. I'm trying to
And
game the
Dina?
algorithm where it will show me.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll have to go check out your new look and so forth. And then Nina is still Southern Digest, correct?
Yep.
I can't ask before I say it. All right. Well, we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for tuning in.